What's going on, boys? Welcome back to another video. This time, more love on the Civic, of course. We actually picked up new axles because axles are basically shot. Like, they're clunking when you're turning at low speeds, and when you're letting off the clutch in first, it is clunk city. They're about to let go, and with us on the brink of about to be tuning the car, we got to make sure everything's right, and we don't want an axle to blow on the dyno. So let's replace some axles. A couple minutes later and a lot of struggle, the Civic is in a lot better spot. Now I got room on either side to do each axle. Now with it having a VTEC dual overhead cam Del Sol engine in it, I went with Del Sol axles. So I know that they should fit the splines on the transmission side because one's male and one's female. I'm just hoping that they fit the actual hub spline count. Apparently it is a 27-26 on both, so we're gonna pull them out, make sure they fit the hubs first. So first things first, let's break the lug nuts on both the wheels loose and get this front end in the air. 3, 2, 1, and just like that, we're jacked up. So now, what we have to do with this, in order to get to the axle, these ones do have ABS rings even though it's not ABS, so that's a good sign. But what we have to do here is take this axle nut, get a flat head in there to kind of bash out this. And then we take the axle nut off, and then we'll come to this lower ball joint, take that off so that we can lift the knuckle up out of the way and slide through the axle and see if our axle splines fit the new hubs. And if they do, then we can go back there and start reefing out this axle.
2,000 years later.
So I am a delinquent. I have misdiagnosed bad axles. So I'm down here and I'm like, damn, in order to do these axles, this fork needs to come off. And if you guys don't remember, when we put these coilovers in, we had to stand on this just to insert the coilover because we can't get this fork off because this fork is seasoned to the lower control arm. So essentially, if we want to do axles, I need a new fork or to cut this bolt off, and you know, so I need a new fork and new lower control arm in the front to get these axles out, because this and never again in its life is coming off of this. But I don't have bad axles. I'm down here like, that's that clicking I hear, and I misdiagnosed that as a bad axle when in all reality I just need the pilot screws to go through to the hub, because all that is the hub hitting the disc because it doesn't have the pilot screws in it. Okay, here's the deal. I have found 3 bolts. Obviously they're not going to work because they're not recessed in their bolts, but all 3 of these are the same thread pitch, and it is the proper thread pitch for that. Now all I need to do is go to the hardware store, match up the thread pitch, and just get a recessed head for that, and we should be hearing no more rattle rattle. I misdiagnosed, and I'm an idiot. Now that the car's up in the air, we can see what that annoying ass exhaust rattle is and start to work on the exhaust. Since I can return these axles because they're brand new unopened, I can now take that money and spend it on making an exhaust for this, because I have a fabricator that's just down the street from me. He's an awesome guy, and he's going to do up the exhaust on this. Right now it's an old like Chevy Impala Cat to MagnaFlow resonator to MagnaFlow muffler, all of which are like blown out. They're starting to rust through and have exhaust leaks. It's junk, so I'm going to order a Vibrant muffler, Vibrant ultra quiet resonator, and a high flow cat, just because I don't want to be smelling exhaust fumes. I don't want people that are driving behind me filming to smell exhaust fumes. This thing reeks like exhaust fumes. It'll make your eyes burn. It hurts. So I want to put a high flow cat in with the Vibrant ultra quiet res and muffler, and hopefully we'll get this thing into exhaust. But right now at least I can diagnose the exhaust rattle and see if we can eliminate that. I can't believe I diagnosed that as bad axles, but hey, I just saved myself 150 bucks. All right, boys, we are under here, and I want to show you, I found exactly what the exhaust leak is, and it's exactly what I've been saying. The catalyst inside our old Chevy Impala Cat has finally made its way to basically brittle laying inside the cat. I'm gonna go ahead and karate chop this thing, and you guys will be able to hear right away that catalyst is blown out rattling inside the cat. So I'm gonna return those axles, get my money back, and we're gonna order some Vibrant exhaust pieces for this thing, and she is going to be sick. I do need to quiet it down a lot too because it's too loud. So let's see. While I'm laying under here, I'm just going to loosen the petcock for this and see if our catch can slash breather box has actually caught anything in the couple of drives it's been on since we installed it. There is nothing that has come out of this, so it is working as a breather box. So far it hasn't caught anything, which is a good sign. I mean, really, we haven't driven the car enough for it to like really catch anything, and it's not leaking, so that's working good so far. Let's get the hell out from under this thing. Ugh. This car as well is running way too rich. In VTEC it hits like 10 AFR, which is way too rich, and when it's idling it's like 13s or so. When you're kind of booting around it's like in the 13s, so it's almost there, but it's still a little bit rich. It'd be better if it was 14.7 stoichiometric like it should be. So I did bring my laptop. I might plug it in and play around with a few things today. This thing is finally getting tuned on Monday or Tuesday. So I might just plug it in and like minus like 5% from the fuel table, just to see if I can't get those AFRs to be closer to 14. I can't hit VTEC or do any of that. I just kind of got to put it around right now. But either way, it's still a little bit rich, which in turn saves things by fouling them out. It can be damaging in the long run, but it's better than being too lean. I just can't wait to get this thing tuned. And like I said, I did bring my laptop today, so I might fiddle around with some Honda stuff. All right, drop her down. Don't forget to torque your wheels, boys. All right, and there's only one more thing we have to do before we hit Honda, and that involves a heat gun and a rubber mallet. This is what happens when your car's too low for a fender roller. That's right, baby. The driver rear is quite literally the only wheel on the whole car that rubs, and it is because it's the only fender on all four corners that isn't rolled. That's about to change. All right, let's get this wheel off and let's get heating up. Follow me under here, boys. All right, first things first, we're gonna heat the whole thing with a heat gun. The paint's already starting to crack really bad from it rubbing on the tire, so I'm not too concerned. We're gonna call this a race paint job. After probably pissing off the whole neighborhood, although it had to be done, we have ourselves an immaculately rolled fender, and I don't know if you can tell, but my spray paint job didn't even chip, baby. But like seriously though, look how good that roll is. Like with a heat gun and a mallet, I rolled these fenders better than the other three that I did with like a jank fender roller. So all I can say is that I'm hyped on the mallet and the heat gun job. Really can't complain. And the moment we've all been waiting for, boys, it is time to mess with some Honda. I'm not gonna mess with a ton because I'm not a tuner and I'm trying to figure shit out, so we're just gonna do a little button pressing and see if we can't figure it out. Take this, let's plug her in. Da-ding. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is take some fuel out of the overall map, and that's running way better at idle. We can see it change as I knock it down here. So if I go 1, 2, it'll go up even more. See how it smells like way less fuel? Yeah, so that's a lot better. I'm not gonna do anything with the VTEC table, just the low speed table right now. Okay boys, so I've basically just taken fuel out of this whole entire map, and now it's idling a lot more healthy. Instead of like, it used to be like 12, 13, now it's like 13, 14, give it a bit of gas, like cruising around. It is running a lot healthier just by highlighting it, the low speed fuel, and just taking a couple notches out of it. So right up here, that is target lambda. So that's what it's kind of wanting us to target, is that 14.7 and then 13.5 up here. And if we go back here to this one, show estimated change in fuel enrichment, we can see what we need to change. So right here is like we need to take out 25%, 10%, 1%, 14% to hit that target of 14.7. And as we rev it up, it maps out more of the table. And then so what you'd want to do for, like, say these two are 13, 13, you just want to right click and you want to go adjust, and then you would like want to take out that percentage, which is like 13%. But I'm not a tuner, so I'm not going to get too heavily into this. I just wanted it to idle a little bit better. As you can see, we're getting a little up there. I might add just a touch of fuel back in it. So if we just go over here, you can see we're idling like right here right now. So I might just, obviously you don't want to make changes to the whole table because it'll all be different, but that's what I'm doing right now at least. So we're gonna do that, and I'm just gonna add a tick. And it's just gonna help that out just a little bit. When I was just sitting here, like, I could smell 91, my eyes would hurt, I'd get a headache after just sitting here idling. Obviously the exhaust is pointed right out of the garage, it's open, we have all the doors open, but it would be kind of painful. And now it doesn't really smell like fuel at all, because stoichiometric, which is what you basically want it to be running at for an NA application around idle and cruising, is 14.7. Right now we're idling at 14.1, 14.2. I'm not a tuner, but that's as close as I'm willing to get it before it gets tuned here in just a couple of days. I'm just trying to soften it up a little bit so when I drive to the tuner, it's not putting so much wear and tear and fouling things out. And remember, lean is mean. Lean kills motors, so you don't want this to be too lean. If anything, you want it to be a little bit too rich. Only thing rich is going to do is foul shit out like your O2 sensor, your spark plugs, and clog up your cats, but it's not going to blow up your engine like too lean will. So right now we're getting as close as I've really ever gotten this to a perfect 14.7 stoichiometric reading. I'm going to leave it here for the tuner, and we're going to call it good on Honda. It's a little bit stressful, but I'm slowly figuring it out, and I'm actually going to street tune with him, so he's going to teach me the ways as well, which I'm very excited for. I'm not going to shove a camera in front of his face though. It's a little bit awkward, so I'll kind of show you guys what we did though. All right, and now that the fuel tables are evened out, my whole shop doesn't reek like fuel, it's time to put on the last piece to the puzzle. We got our plates. This thing's finally gonna have plates on it. Let's put them on. It's a small thing, but boy does that make me happy right there. Let's check out the front end. Yes, sir. Plated up and ready to rip. And with all that being said, boys, we are going to go ahead and end the video right here. If you enjoyed, comment, like, and subscribe right now. Make sure you click the bell, turn the notifications on so you don't miss when we upload next. We are getting this thing tuned on Monday. It's currently Saturday. And I literally couldn't be more excited. Like, right now, before I mess with the fuel trim, like, you'd hit VTEC and the thing would get louder and slower at the same time. It's dumping fuel. It was way too rich. It would burn your eyes. I'm so excited to get this thing tuned and then rework the exhaust for it and just have a blast driving it until the snow comes. Because it's insured now. I can take it out whenever. I was contemplating taking it out today, but we have some other things to go ahead and finish up. So we're going to go ahead and close it out at the shop here today. Civic didn't need axles. We confirmed that the exhaust rattle was indeed catalyst falling apart inside the cat. We tuned the low speed fuel tables just a little bit to where it runs almost stoichiometric. Now, we got insurance and plated this thing, and we hand rolled one fender. The only fender that was left unrolled before my jankly modified fender roller that would fit this car, because normal fender rollers don't, broke. So, fair bit done today. I can return those axles we never needed. I did grab the right thread pitch. I just need to get some screws to fasten the discs onto the hubs. I don't know why that was never done. I don't know why I never did that. I used to work a little bit more jankly than I do now, but we're gonna get some proper hardware to fix those. Axles are fine. We're gonna reinvest that money into exhaust and a tune. Man, this thing's about done. Till next time, boys. Peace.